Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm back and it is Saturday, August 15th, and it is 11:42. Now I have already done one video and uploaded it. It was processing, but it's probably up there by now. And this is the second video because I did have a few more things to get to, and I didn't do a video yesterday. So I just want to catch some things up so that I don't have so much to catch up on. And we are going to do that right now. We're going to head over and I'm going to pick up right from where I left off. And as you can see, I've started this video one time already, and the cats were misbehaving, so I have started it again. Now I did thank the following people in the last video, and I appreciate the support very, very much, especially during this time because so many are unable to support, and I have lost some listeners because of, and supporters because of my stance on certain things. So, and I understand that, but I have to be true to what I believe. I still support Trump and I believe Q. I just am not covering Q. All right, let's look at this first of all. And this is very interesting. Probably most of you have seen this by now, but interestingly enough, a reporter asks Donald Trump the question, the Q question, and Trump, you can see he wants to say it. He doesn't disavow Trump, and when she asks about Q, he just kind of, you know, nods his head, but then he doesn't really answer her question because she's asking, what do you think of that this new person is basically, you know, a Q conspiracist, and what do you think of that? And he just said, oh, she's a great person and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes on to another reporter. Doesn't really answer the question. Very good at deflecting. But let me make this bigger for you tiny phone people. And let's take a listen to this. It's very short.
I do congratulate Marjorie Taylor Greene in a tweet. He called her a future Republican star. Greene has been a proponent of the QAnon conspiracy theory. She said it's something that would be worth listening to. Do you agree with her on that?
Well, she did very well in the election. She won by a lot. She was very...
So she asks him, do you agree with her on that? He doesn't answer her question. He talks about how great she is. And then he deflects and goes to another reporter.
She comes from a great state, and she had a tremendous victory, so absolutely I did congratulate her.
See, and the other reporter's still asking him, well, do you agree with the QAnon? He didn't really answer that, did he? Because I don't think it's time yet. He didn't disavow Q, though, which tells me a lot. He didn't say, yeah, it is a conspiracy theory, and yeah, she believes that, but, you know, whatever. He could have disavowed Q very, very easily at that point, but he doesn't. He, in fact, just leaves it and goes to another reporter. So I thought that was very, very interesting. Probably most of you have seen this, but in case, I wanted to make sure that you did not miss that. And let's go on from there. Okay, the first video is up now, so that's good news. Let's look at this. Now, we did touch on this briefly in the last video, but this is deep state lawyer Kevin Clinesmith texted "Viva la Resistance" to FBI colleague after Trump won. So I'm not going to read this because this is kind of convoluted here, but yeah, this guy's kind of, I was going to say a bit of a slime bag. No, he's quite a sizable slime bag. Because some of the things that he was writing, it says in his text, Clinesmith expressed disappointment after the election that the crazies won finally and the Trump administration would be the Tea Party on steroids. The GOP is going to be lost. They have to deal with an incumbent in 4 years, he wrote. We have to fight this again. Also, Pence is stupid. So, and then it mentions some stuff from the Horowitz report we're not going to get into because time is limited. And it says, Clinesmith also blamed the FBI for Trump's victory, saying then-Director James Comey's letter confirming that investigation of Hillary Clinton's emails was still open broke the momentum of the presidential race. I'm so stressed about what I could have done differently, he wrote. Clinesmith also wrote that he feared Trump's systematic disassembly of the progress we made over the last 8 years, including Obamacare. And remember, they had that 16-year plan to destroy America. They were halfway through it, and the intention was for Hillary to win and finish their plan. But, well, they never thought she would lose, right? And if she had won, I don't even know what the country would look like today. I just thank God that she didn't. So anyway, he argued to the Inspector General that his texts were personal commentary and did not affect his professional work on the investigations. Well, of course they did, because he was clearly biased. So, yeah, very interesting, and lots of stuff happening behind the scene. So, let's get out of there. You don't need that. And let's go back. Look at this. Now, this says, meet Kevin Clinesmith. This is the little pencil neck that is pleading guilty for his part in Crossfire Hurricane. He said things like, I have initiated the destruction of this country. I have never really liked this republic. He is the perfect target. He will squeal like a pig. Well, let's hope he does. So, this is him. And here's a little flowchart here, which is far too small for me to be able to read, but FBI lawyer who sent anti-Trump resistance text message interviewed George Papadopoulos. So, yeah, and down here it says the third exchange we identified was on November 22nd, 2016. FBI Attorney 2, which is Clinesmith, was sent an important message to FBI Attorney 1 commenting on the amount of money the subject of the FBI investigation had been paid while working on the Trump campaign. FBI Attorney 1 responded, is this making you rethink your commitment to the Trump administration? FBI Attorney 2 replied, hell no, and then added, viva la resistance. FBI Attorney 1 responded that Trump was going to eliminate all of our pensions in order to pay for people like the person discussed in the instant message exchange, and FBI Attorney 1 and FBI Attorney 2 then began a discussion of federal pension and retirement issues. So this guy, yeah, a little bit of a slime bag here. It says, among the general discussion of political issues by FBI Attorney 2, Clinesmith, we identified 3 instant message exchanges that raise concerns of potential bias. The first of these exchanges was on October 28, 2016, shortly after Comey's October 28 letter to Congress that effectively announced the reopening of the mid-year investigation. FBI Attorney 2 sent similar messages to 4 different FBI employees. The timestamp of these messages are included below. The messages states, to FBI Employee 1, I mean, I never really liked the Republic anyway. And this is Attorney number 1 to, Employee 2. To FBI Employee 2, I mean, I never really liked the Republic anyway. Okay, and then this is to Employee 3, as I have initiated the destruction of the Republic, would you be so kind as to have coffee with me this afternoon? And to Employee 4, I'm clinging to small pockets of happiness in the dark time of the Republic's destruction. So very, very interesting exchanges there. And I'm sure there's going to be lots more to come with him. And yeah, let's hope he does. Just spill it all. It's the only choice he has, really, at this point. So let's go back and get into the rest. So let's look at this. And I'm sure you've heard this, of what they are planning for the 17th of September. Not good. They are planning to lay siege to the White House, all funded by Soros groups. Soros lays siege to the White House. Top globalists waging war on Trump. No surprise there. I think we all are quite aware of that. Refuse Fascism has come to celebrate that they have gradually become an agitating tentacle of the Democratic Party, regardless of the fact that they were in part formed by the Revolutionary Communist Party, and we have known since at least 2017 that they are indirectly funded by the Alliance for Global Justice, which is listed as an organization and fiscal sponsor for Refuse Fascism, which is in turn funded by George Soros through the Tides Foundation. As the Daily Caller reported, while it is unclear whether those who carried out the violence were paid to do so, the benefactors of the Alliance for Global Justice and Refuse Fascism are listed online. According to its most recent 990 form, tax form, Alliance for Global Justice, AFGJ, received $2.2 million in funding for the first fiscal year ending in March 2016. One of the group's biggest donors is the Tides Foundation, a nonprofit funded by billionaire progressive philanthropist George Soros. Yeah, no surprise there. None whatsoever. All right, now let's continue on because there's more. There's always more. All right, and let's look at this, which I think is downright ludicrous. 9/11 New York City tribute canceled over COVID concerns, despite de Blasio allowing Black Lives Matter mural without a permit. Yeah, one rule for them and another rule for us. Hasn't that always been the way? And yeah, so I guess peaceful protests are allowed, but a tribute to those who died in 9/11, that cannot be achieved because of COVID concerns. No COVID concerns about rioting and protesting and looting and you know, burning and, you know, destroying police cars and all that. But yeah, 9/11 tribute, wow, can't have that. Might get COVID. Right. This would be a great place for a collective eye roll. Yeah, it does kind of do something. It makes you feel a little bit better anyway. I roll my eyes in protest. See, when I think about doing it, I can't do it. There we go. All right, all night long, I'll be like practicing. All right, the iconic memorial display in New York City that features 2 beams of light to honor the victims of 9/11 has been canceled. The 2 beams of light. Yes, I guess they might spread COVID. I don't know. Has been canceled over coronavirus concerns just weeks after Mayor Bill de Blasio allowed a Black Lives Matter mural to be painted outside Trump Tower. The tribute in light beams won't shine this year because health risks posed to the large crew required to oversee it were far too great. Right, that's why. Yeah, let's go with that. According to the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, the same concern were completely absent when a similarly large crew was on hand to paint the giant Black Lives Matter mural. It's not a mural. That's become my pet peeve. That is not a mural. It's letters on a pavement. Not a mural. Not even close. I might end up getting violent if they don't stop saying mural. Really. It just gets right under my skin and digs. Okay, anyway, the same concerns were completely absent when a similarly large crew was on hand to paint giant letters on the pavement, a process which de Blasio himself took part in for a photo op. Well, of course. The mural was also, it wasn't a mural. The big letters on the pavement were also painted without permission from the city, with de Blasio allowing activists to skip the permit process. Yeah, one rule for them, another for us. As we previously highlighted, at the time when New York City is experiencing soaring shootings and violent crimes, partly thanks to de Blasio emptying the prisons, the Black Lives, the big black letters on the pavement, or was it black letters on the pavement? No, it was yellow letters on black pavement. There you go. The big letters on the ground also required 27 cops working in shifts to protect it. Yeah. You need to protect those big letters on the ground. Are they going to get up and walk away? Well, somebody could damage them. Gee, that would really be a shame. Anyway, yeah. So, LOL, government is funny. Well, I don't think it's funny at all. That's by Luke Rudowski. De Blasio admits city skip permit process to paint Black Lives Matter big yellow letters on black pavement, but the 9/11 tribute in light has been canceled because of COVID concerns. That is the lunacy that is now New York City. No wonder people are leaving in droves. Can't get away quick enough. It's because of you, de Blasio and Cuomo. Yeah. They're getting away from you. The 9/11 Memorial and Museum also scraped the in-person reading of 9/11 victims' names at the annual Ground Zero ceremony over coronavirus concerns. Similar concerns were not expressed when tens of thousands of Black Lives Matter protesters repeatedly marched through New York City in close proximity. Well, of course not. That's peaceful protesting. That's allowed. They should call the 9/11 Memorial a peaceful protest, and then everybody would be happy, wouldn't they? Twitter respondents expressed their disgust at the double standard. This is a slap in the face to America, said one. No permit, but yet arrest people for vandalizing what they vandalized in the first place, added another. Yeah, well, these people in New York, I don't know what kind of glue they're sniffing, but it's powerful stuff. This is a slap in the face to America, said one. No permit, but arrest people for vandalizing what they vandalized in the first place. Remember, you can't get corona at a BLM event, but you can at a light show, said another. Could we all just call it a George Floyd light show or something? There's got to be a way around this, joked another. Yeah, so true. So true. Sad, but true. All right, well, let's go on now. This from Charlie Kirk. Make no mistake, canceling the 9/11 Light Tower tribute is much more about hating cops and refusing to honor the heroes who died that day than it is about keeping people healthy. Now, that is exactly what I think. They don't want to pay tribute to the police and the firefighters that gave their life that day. No, they don't want to do that, especially after they've been bashing the police all this time and defunding them. So no, they want to do that. And do you really think they care about your health when they placed COVID patients in with the elderly? Do you think they were thinking about the elderly patients? No, of course they weren't. And they're not thinking about you when they're concerned about COVID. No, not at all. We are not under any illusions that they care whatsoever. All right, now the other thing here is Donald Trump's brother has been hospitalized. So if you are a believer, please pray for him. Report Donald Trump's brother hospitalized and very ill. Trump expected to visit, and he did visit. Now, if you want to see something really interesting, and I mean really interesting, go to Robert Trump's Twitter page and look at his tweets. Wow. He gives away a lot in those tweets. Someday, maybe perhaps I will do that. I'll just gather up all his tweets and we can go through them because they're interesting. Now, so President Donald Trump's brother, Robert Trump, has been hospitalized in New York. The White House confirmed on Friday. I hope he's safe. I hope he's in a hospital where no one can get to him, if you know what I mean. Trump's younger brother has been admitted to a hospital in New York City and is very ill, according to a report from ABC News. The outlet added that the president is expected to visit Robert, as the commander-in-chief is already scheduled to visit his nearby country club in Bedminster, New Jersey on Friday and deliver remarks to the City of New York Police Benevolent Association, who have supported him as president. So I think that is just awesome. And why wouldn't the police support Trump? He's all for them. Unlike the Democrats. White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany said McEnany, I guess, I always pronounce her name wrong, said the president has a very good relationship with his brother, while details of Robert Trump's condition currently remain scarce. The press secretary added that more information is forthcoming. Robert Trump, 72, was hospitalized in June, spending more than a week in the intensive care unit at the Mount Sinai Hospital in New York. That same month, Robert moved to halt the publication of his niece's tell-all book, contending that it would violate a pact among family members, according to Associated Press. All right, so let's go on there and see what else we have. This by Donald Trump. He said, "I promised you I would not take a dime of salary as your president. I donated I donate the entire $400,000. It is my honor to give $100,000 to National Park Service to help repair and restore our great national monuments, so important to our American history. Thank you. Now, do you know of any other president that has ever donated his entire salary? And he's been doing this from the start. So the president's salary is $400,000 a year, which really is not much considering the stress and strain and everything that they deal with. But he has donated that for, well, since he's been in power, he's donated his salary. He works for nothing. Zip, zero, nada. Not only that, he is the only president to have ever lost money while he's in office. The rest all seem to get ridiculously rich while they're in office, not Trump. No, he's lost money being in office, and he donates his entire salary, and he donates it to the American people. He donates it to causes that will benefit everyone as a nation. That is very admirable, but do you ever hear the press talking about that? Have they ever mentioned it even once? I've never heard them mention it. Probably don't want people to know that. And Dr. Simone Gold, 50+ international studies now show that countries that use HCQ early have a 79% 79% lower COVID-19 mortality rate. Yet, in the USA, politicians block pharmacies from dispensing it, and social media companies censor physicians from speaking about it. Why? Well, I think we all know why. Can't make money on that. No, because it's an old drug. It's, pennies to produce, and anybody really can produce it now because when a drug first comes out, it has, nobody else can manufacture that drug for a certain amount of time, but this is so old and has been produced for decades, so anybody can produce it for pennies, so they can't make money from that, Anyway, let's look at this. All right, Minneapolis tells residents with riot-wrecked buildings they can't clean up until they've paid their 2020 property taxes in full. This is disgusting. Through no fault of their own, their buildings have been ruined, their income, their way of living, their way of supporting themselves has been ripped from them. The buildings are ruined. Some of them probably still owe on these buildings, and now the city says, no, we can't clean up till you pay your property taxes in full. And where are they supposed to pull that out of? Their hinder parts? This is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. This is the reason why I will never, ever live in a Democrat-run city. Ever. Ever. And if I live somewhere and a Democrat gets in, bye-bye. Unbelievable. After failing at the one thing people think they need from government, Minneapolis is getting tough on making damaged citizens pay up. The city of Minneapolis this afternoon announced that it was going to cease requiring the paying of property taxes to get demo permits, the practice this following story discusses. The original story follows as initially posted. Okay, so now they've relented. It's saying there was this original story. Probably people got extremely upset, as I would expect they would, and now they are saying that it is going to cease, that they're not going to have to pay their entire property tax to get demo permits. Unbelievable that they'd even consider that. So anyway, I'm not going to read through all this because I think it says it all and we don't need all the nitty gritty. So, and it's after 12 and I'm probably going to get silly any minute now, so I have to watch for that. It happens, I don't know, around a certain time at night. I don't know what happens. It's like somebody far sillier takes over. All right, now let's come down here. This is from the Bradford file. Wow, the New York City Police Union has endorsed Trump. And well, they should, right? Absolutely. And the Bradford file here, laugh out loud, President Trump is donating his money to rebuild national monuments destroyed by unhinged Democrats. I love it. Well, he is the master troll. There's no more trolly than he is. I'm not sure that's a word, but it should be. And this by Ness. My son was supposed to be starting UCLA. She was informed that when the vaccine comes out, every student and faculty will have to take it. My friend pulled her son. She's also one of the top internal medicine doctors in the country. What's that say? Well, I would say that if this is one of the top internal medicine doctors and they are pulling their son out because they will be required to take a vaccine, then that would say to me that the vaccine is not safe. All right. Now, this is very, very strange as well. Freakish Arctic fires. There seems to be these fires happening everywhere, but these are freakish fires. Not just any fires, they're freakish. NASA satellite images of fires in eastern Siberia depict an inferno of monstrous proportions. Nothing in modern history compares. And as of July, it's intensifying. Should people be concerned? Answer, yes and double yes. According to Mark Parrington, a senior scientist at the Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service of the European Center for Medium-Range Weather Forecasts, what has been surprising is the rapid increase in the scale and intensity of the fires through July, largely driven by a large cluster of active fires in the northern Sakha Republic. The problem, abnormally warm temperatures have spawned an increase. Abnormally warm temperatures have spawned an intense fire season in the eastern Siberian this summer. Now, I didn't even realize that it ever got warm enough to have fires in Siberia. I've always pictured something incredibly cold, but I am willing to admit that I've been completely wrong about Siberia. So anyway, is this global warming on steroids? For further color on the problem, as of June 23rd, a SciTech Daily headline read, meteorologists shocked as heat and fire scorches Siberia. At last count, meteorologists are hardcore scientists with vast exposure to disaster scenarios, not easily shocked. As it happened, the very region of the planet that's famous for the coldest temperatures of all time is now recording Miami-type summer temperatures like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Due to this unheard of, unprecedented state of affairs, should this real-time happening now catastrophic scenario be included in the U.S. presidential NSA briefings? No, the president doesn't read. Then should NSA verbalize the catastrophe to the president? You gotta be kidding, and risk being what the heck? Okay, this is Dissident Voice, a radical newsletter in the struggle for peace and social justice. Obviously they hate Trump. Oh, the president doesn't read. Duh. Really? Well, you know what? All these people that think President Trump is so stupid have not achieved even one tiny bit of what he has achieved in his lifetime. This makes me so angry. People just always casually putting him down like he's some sort of idiot. Look at the buildings he's built. Look at what he's accomplished in his lifetime. Really? And you think he doesn't read? Really? Who's the idiot? You are. Not you guys. Not you guys. Anyway, the fires are very, very odd, if you ask me. And I don't know what is happening with this, but I would like to know. Here's more about this mind-blowing threat to the well-being of the world. Arctic fires in Russia in June and July alone released more CO2 than any complete fire season. You know what? I don't trust what they're saying now because they're so biased. So I am going to look this story up in a trustworthy news source, and I'm going to bring it to you. Now, I do know that there are fires in the Arctic right now. I do know that it is extremely unusual, and I do know that they are experiencing unprecedented heat. But I can't trust this news source, evidently. So I am going to look that up, and I'm going to report on it from a different news source, if that's all right with you guys, and I hope it is. I don't think you would want me to read something that is being so unfair, I would say freakishly unfair to President Trump. So I'm not going to read further. All right, now let's look at this. Dear media, President Trump isn't out of control. He's out of your control. Retweet and amen if you're as thankful as I am that he is. And he is definitely out of their control, and that's why they hate him. All right, now Mark Lutchman says, I would tell you a COVID-19 joke, but there's a 99.62% chance you wouldn't get it. Now, that is awesome. I don't care who you are. That's funny. I'd tell you a COVID-19 joke, but there's a 99.62% chance you wouldn't get it. Yeah, that's so true. Spanish flu had mandatory masks 1917 to 1918 too, and flu particles too small, so they got sick. The mask is to generate constant fear. Absolutely. To shut down economy, to disgrace Trump, to lose elections. Simple as that. Stats have been manipulated and totals crooked. Period. This by Donna M. Freeman, and I do believe, well, she was a listener. I think she possibly still is. Anyway, now let's go to this. And what do we have here? Can't remember. Oh, yes. Holy smokes, Kavanaugh just dropped a mother of all bombs on George Soros. SCOTUS ruled organizations affiliated with Soros Open Society lose the protection of the First Amendment and can be treated, I'm sorry, I'm not sure why this, hang on. And okay, SCOTUS ruled organizations affiliated with Soros Open Society lose the protection of the First Amendment and can be treated as international threats, as this impacts supporters in the U.S. and abroad. This is a proper boom. I would agree. I would agree. This is all good news. Good news. Supreme Court of the United States, Agency for International Development, et al. Versus Alliance for Open Society International, Inc. Yeah. So good, so good, so good. Now, I'm not going to read all this. I don't think it's necessary. So, yeah. Bless that Justice Kavanaugh. Yeah. He went through hell, but he's fighting back. All right. Now, I think we have one more thing to cover. Then I'm going to get some shut eye. Because if I slept with my eyes open, that would just be weird. All right. Walmart just pledged $100 million to Black Lives Matter. Are you still shopping there? Well, I shop there much less. If I can get it somewhere else, I will. But there is limited shopping around here. But I really do try to give my business elsewhere, especially after all this stuff. I do try to shop locally to support local businesses because they've been hit hardest with all this COVID nonsense. So I do try to shop locally, even if it costs me a little bit more. But because there's limited shopping, sometimes I have to go to Walmart, but I don't enjoy going there. And I do try to get whatever I need elsewhere, if at all possible. All right, well, that is it. That's going to be it for the second video, and not too bad, 33 minutes. So that's got to be up there as one of my shortest videos because, well, you know me, I just like, So anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. I appreciate it. You guys that have stuck by me, I really appreciate it. More than you know. Trust me. So thank you guys, and thank you to those that support the channel either through prayer or comments or encouragement or Patreon or coffee or however. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys. I will see you in the next video. Good night. Keep seeking truth.